You've clicked on the Mass Madness show, and wow, what a week in WWE between Blizzard's Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, Triple H's podcast with Stone Cold, and Daniel Bryan being added to the mix. There is so much to discuss. We'll get it all started right after this.
Podcasting from the capital city of the great state of New York. This is the Matt's Madness Show, a weekly podcast about the world of professional wrestling.
Give me a hell yeah!
Technology, and damn near anything else that comes to mind. And now, here's your host, Matt Corsell.
Welcome to Matt's Madness, episode 23, and I couldn't be more excited about today. There is so much going on in WWE, as you guys have probably listened to or watched on Monday Night Raw, the Royal Rumble, the canceled Raw that wasn't really canceled, the SmackDown following in Hartford. We finally get a Monday Night Raw after the Royal Rumble, an official Monday Night Raw. So much happened, and so much to be really discussed and debated and kind of torn through here. But before I do that, you guys know some housekeeping here. Any kind of comments, suggestions, criticism, whatever you want to throw my way, good or bad, please do so, because this show's for you guys. Questions at mattsmadness.com or on Twitter, Matts_madness is probably the best way. Obviously, my website is mattsmadness.com if that's how you're joining me. I appreciate you coming to the site. I'm also on iTunes. I'm on Stitcher. I'm on Spreaker, soon to be on TuneIn Radio. So I'm on a lot of media platforms, YouTube as well. Everything is under Matt's Madness except my Twitter handle, which is Matts_madness. So with all that out of the way, there are just so many things that I could discuss, and really it's been kind of bottled up since the Royal Rumble. The WWE fans haven't been able to really react live to Monday Night Raw since since the Royal Rumble. So this Raw, the show itself I liked overall. What I was disappointed with was the crowd, and I kind of knew that going in, that being in Denver wasn't exactly going to be the most raucous, hardcore fan crowd, and they were kind of the muted crowd. They were the traditional, half and half for John Cena and half for Roman Reigns, and I was disappointed that they didn't continue the trend of booing Roman Reigns, although WWE did give you some reasons to start getting behind Roman Reigns. And as we heard on the podcast with Triple H on Stone Cold's podcast right after Raw, exclusively on the WWE Network, which is free for the month of February, I wish I was getting paid to say that, is the fact that Triple H mentioned that what happened in Philadelphia, pretty much, and what happened is the outrage of social media of people being outraged of Roman Reigns winning the Royal Rumble, and the fans feel like Daniel Bryan should be the man. They kind of tweaked their plans. That was read between the lines of Triple H saying that this is a never-ending story, and there's multiple ways to get to a destination, and this story never ends. So this, I gotta hand it to WWE. They did respond to the fans. I hope the fans don't now turn on Daniel Bryan or kind of backtrack in terms of just they need to be consistent. I feel like the fans are kind of fickle and kind of front-runner, but I really enjoy the hardcore crowds. Philadelphia, anywhere in New York, obviously Madison Square Garden, anywhere in the Northeast, and so forth. So I looked at the Raw schedule moving forward, and there's not a whole lot of those locations. East Rutherford, New Jersey is the next one coming up, and I believe that's after Fastlane. So obviously WrestleMania and the crowd after the Monday night after is just always traditionally off the hook. Love it, because those are the smart fans, the educated fans, not just the fans that just go along for the ride and don't think through anything. And just swallow the garbage that WWE feeds them and doesn't actually consider the logic and the fact that they're telling you who to cheer for. So when the crowds boo the baby faces, that's kind of a signal of, hey, we don't accept this guy as our guy. We'll tell you who we accept. So I wish those crowds were a little bit more prevalent through Fastlane. Unfortunately, they're not. Nonetheless, Fastlane is shaping up to be a decent pay-per-view so far. Obviously, with Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns, it is really that match alone is reason to sign up, especially if the network is free in February. More or less, Fastlane is just an advertisement for WrestleMania. So, with that being said, I did like Monday Night Raw. The opening segment, everyone seems to be complaining, was too long, and it was a little bit lengthy, but it did what it needed to do. I feel like there needed to be a lot of talking involved, a lot of explanation. They couldn't just go right into a match. So, Triple H came out. Him and Steph talk about how the Patriots are their team, and they won the Super Bowl, and that's best for business. Triple H says that the end of the game was not without controversy and wonders if the NFL will survive the hashtag cancel NFL network. A lot of just kind of owning the cancel WWE network hashtag that was trending, laughing at it, kind of saying, haha, you guys think that that's going to affect us and shut us down. Kind of a little bit of a jab at the fans and everyone that jumped on that bandwagon. They were kind of referencing the Patriots as Roman Reigns, saying the Patriots won and that is best for business. Kind of saying, we know what's best for, we think we know what's best for business. And then he says that Kane and Big Show were unsportsmanlike in the Royal Rumble since they came back in after they were eliminated. But that's not what he has a problem with. What he has a problem with is The Rock. They said he had no business getting involved in the Royal Rumble since he's no longer a WWE superstar. Triple H says Sting did the same thing at Survivor Series and is going to put an end to the Sting problem at Fastlane. And of course, he's not going to put an end to it. It's just going to be another way to put a little more gas on the fire that's going to culminate at WrestleMania. So if you think that's actually going to end at Fastlane, you probably haven't been introduced to professional wrestling for very long. And then Steph says Roman was the official winner of the Royal Rumble, but should he face Brock Lesnar for the title at WrestleMania? That's the question. This right here is in direct response to the fans overreacting in some people's minds right now of what happened at the Royal Rumble. I think it was an inappropriate reaction. I still, now that I've had almost 2 weeks to digest what happened at the Royal Rumble, I still don't believe it was an overreaction. WWE needs to know who the fans feel is their guy. I know that the higher ups have a long-term plan, and some fans don't understand that this business is a big picture business, and the fans, unfortunately, in today's gotta have it now society, our attention spans are shortened. So that slow burn storyline, a lot of fans don't have patience for. Case in point, last year when Daniel Bryan kept getting, quote, screwed out of the title when, in fact, they built it all the way till WrestleMania. So I'm a fan of the slow burn. It gives stories a time to evolve and really develop, and you get emotionally invested in the story rather than just week to week things changing so much it's hard to follow. So I understand that a lot of fans have that short attention span, but I really am a fan of that old school, let it slow burn, let us understand who these characters are, why they're fighting, and then have that big blow-off at a SummerSlam or WrestleMania. So, little side note. But then Daniel Bryan comes out, and right then and there this is a direct response to the fans, and great. I'm all for it. So he says that they want to talk about controversy. How about the fact that he was stripped of the title and never given a rematch last year? So if they're going to be giving away a title shot or taking away from Roman Reigns, that Daniel Bryan should throw his name in the hat of number one contenders. Triple H actually agrees with him, and he should, because Daniel Bryan has a legitimate case. Daniel Bryan never lost the title. That is a legitimate gripe. He never lost it. He got injured. That's unfortunate, but he never was pinned or submitted for it. So he never got a rematch, nothing. So definitely a very valid storyline to roll with for that. So then Triple H actually agrees with him that Brock never beat him for the title, so he could see Bryan getting a shot at WrestleMania. Then Seth Rollins comes out, says Brock would eat Daniel Bryan alive, and the way he said that was just so great. It wasn't just saying Daniel Bryan, he would eat you alive. He said it like, Daniel Bryan, he would eat you alive. And just the way he said it was great. Seth Rollins is still the top heel in my opinion. You can make a case for Brock Lesnar being the top heel, but Seth Rollins has all the traits and the look of a guy that you just love to hate. He's that slithering, slimy guy with he's the opportunist. He knows how to be a heel. Brock Lesnar is an inch away from being a babyface. So, which, by the way, the latest trends, if you read between the lines with Triple H and Stone Cold, and I'll get there, it seems to be trending that Brock Lesnar might be sticking around. So we'll see. After WrestleMania, that is. He says that he should be the one that should take the main event spot at WrestleMania since he stole the show at Royal Rumble and he broke Brock's ribs. Okay, I guess it's kind of the weakest of the three, but nonetheless, it is a valid heel way to say I stole the show. But he still lost the match, but it's a great way to say, kind of put his ego over. Triple H then announces Seth versus Daniel Bryan for later, and the winner goes to Fastlane to face Roman Reigns for the main event spot at WrestleMania. Roman Reigns reluctantly agrees to this. Steph says that it's his opportunity to prove everyone that he deserves this spot. And it was good because Roman Reigns didn't say a whole lot. His body language spoke for what he needed to say. Although I didn't really enjoy his 20 his what faces. You know, he didn't have his microphone up to his face saying this, but he would just kind of go what. I don't know. He needs to work on communication through a lot of different means. And that's 100% where he's disconnecting with the fans. Is his promo skills. His in-ring can be hidden if his promos back up what's in the ring, but right now they're not syncing up. He's got about 3 moves, and we'll see where it goes. I've already ranted on Roman Reigns. I think he is going to be a huge main event player. I just don't think he's ready right now. And as Triple H mentioned in the podcast with Stone Cold, you can't ever be ready. But you know what? You can be closer to ready than Roman is now. So then we get Big Show versus Roman Reigns. Triple H tells Roman to stay right where he is, basically. And Big Show comes out, and these two have a match where Seth Rollins interferes, and it costs Roman Reigns the match. Roman Reigns gets pinned. So it makes Roman Reigns look vulnerable, which is, I guess, something that hasn't been done, and it's kind of maybe a reaction to what was a, quote, protected Roman Reigns that a lot of fans felt WWE was protecting him. So it's a way to make Reigns look a little more vulnerable than he has in the past, and maybe not give the perception that he's being protected by the upper brass. Smart by WWE, but I mean, I can see through it. It's fine with me. It's not like they're trying to fool me, but I guess the smarter fan realizes that when Roman Reigns gets pinned on Raw and is now his WrestleMania opportunity is now in jeopardy, it's a clear reaction to the fan outrage from the Royal Rumble, and it's really the right thing to do. So. Now this is going to be a little out of order because, again, I have the 90-minute version of Raw on Hulu. The only way I get the full results, obviously, I just go online. So I guess the Miz fired Mizdow as a stunt double. This was part that I didn't see, but I heard about. I guess he's now his personal assistant, but then during Miz's match, Sandow distracted him, costing him the win. So, I mean, this is a clear indication that these two are on the outs. Mizdow or Damian Sandow is the star of this show. I hope that they take his character and develop it to a point where we can take it seriously. He's entertainment, no question. He's more over now than he ever was, even though it's kind of in a comedy relief role. Damian Sandow is multi-talented, and I hope that they can continue to build him so that down the road we can take him seriously in a possible main event level. So, the Bray Wyatt promo. I also did not see this. They did not put it on Hulu's 90-minute version of Raw, but I did watch it on YouTube, and there's no question that this has to do with The Undertaker. I think at this point it's pretty much a lock that Bray Wyatt versus The Undertaker for WrestleMania 31 is in the books and is on the card, and I'm excited to see it. And at this age, I don't think that The Undertaker should be facing anybody like Brock Lesnar, because really Bray Wyatt is much younger and he's much more, quote, the future of WWE. And that's really what I'm sure The Undertaker would want to do, is help grow the company. And that's how you do it, is by building future stars. So Bray Wyatt's going to get a huge rub on this. A huge rub, win or lose. Bray Wyatt, and I think that Bray Wyatt will win. I actually, very, very, very early prediction for WrestleMania 31. This match isn't even announced. The Undertaker's not even back. But if it does happen, I think Bray Wyatt goes over The Undertaker at WrestleMania 31. You heard it here first, guys. And then there was Ryback versus Luke Harper, and I thought it was okay. A lot of people praised this match. I thought it was kind of clunky. It was just a lot of power moves, not a whole lot of psychology in the match. It was more of just, I'll powerbomb you, you suplex me, no psychology, no body part being picked on, just kind of tossing each other around the ring. I mean, these two guys are talented, no question. Luke Harper being the more talented of the one in terms of athletic ability. Yeah, Ryback is a powerhouse, but Luke Harper, in my opinion, is much more athletic. Kind of held the match together, but these two didn't. It wasn't a bad match. It didn't feel like, I wasn't emotionally invested in it because it was very cold. It was a cold match. There was no reason for these guys to fight. There was no story behind it, and it was just power move. My turn to beat on you. Your turn to beat on me. I've seen way worse. It didn't serve a whole lot of purpose other than to further Ryback for plans at WrestleMania, I guess. On the backstage segments, with the Authority saying it was so easy to manipulate, and everyone will, and Triple H is going to do the same to Austin on his podcast. Very laughable once you get to that podcast, because that's not what happened. Triple H completely broke character, broke kayfabe, and he was Paul Levesque. He was not Triple H. And it was an awesome podcast, no question, but it was just more really to just get people interested to see the podcast, because you had to sign up to the network to get it. So, smart marketing. But then, so Cena comes out. He talks about Triple H and the Austin podcast again, promoting it again, which is indirectly promoting the network. Smart. That's what you do. WWE is going to live and die by this podcast, or the network. WWE is absolutely going all in on the network. So no question that everybody has to be promoting the network. And they're at 1 million subscribers, and that sounds great. But you got to remember, they just went to the UK, in which a lot of them got the first month free. So I'd like to know the number of paying subscribers. You got to also look at the fact of they keep giving months away free. Like in February, that month is free. So you're going to have a bolstered number of, quote, subscribers that may slack off or cancel before WrestleMania. So I'd like to know the paying number of subscribers. Much different number. Nonetheless, it's clear that the WWE Network is growing, and that's great for them. And it's great for us because they're going to continue to improve it. I think they're way ahead of the curve right now. They're very aggressive, and I give them credit because Vince has a knack for seeing things being ahead of the curve. So he doesn't always hit, as we know, but he is a creative genius. And so he says that Triple H, Cena that is, says that Triple H has a vision of WWE without him, and says that he will never give up no matter what, and says that they won't fire him because they'll have to answer to stockholders, they'll have to answer to sponsors, they'll have to answer to charities. There's lots of different people they'll have to answer to. That was very real. And that was a good point to make, that of the reason why Triple H and Stephanie won't fire John Cena. John Cena knows he's the face of the place, as he put it last week. So then he welcomes back Ziggler, Ryback, and Eric Rowan. That's fine. Obviously, these three were never going to be fired for a long term anyway. There was no question that they were coming back. I don't think it was in anybody's mind that, oh my God, they're actually fired. Whenever they do a firing angle, it's kind of, it's not going to last. There's really nowhere you can go after that, because any fan knows that who's been watching for any number of years, or really, even if you've only been exposed to the product less than a year, that really, can they fire that guy? It's not going to remain, because that just would not make any sense, and that guy is not going to be in the program, so now these people aren't going to tune in. Just doesn't make a lot of sense when they fire people. And then we had Ziggler versus Wyatt. I thought it was probably one of the better matches of the night. It was right up there with Daniel Bryan and Seth Rollins at the end of the Raw. Ziggler is one of the most talented guys on the roster. He knows how to sell. At points, he oversells. And that's almost, it's a good thing, but to the point of, like, he needs to actually tone it back a little bit. He's always fighting from underneath. He looks like he's just dead. He's just laying there motionless, and he'll pull out a zigzag and a win. But Wyatt, he has very nice heel nuances throughout the match. He has cheap shots when the referee breaks them up. Wyatt will just clock, Ziggler. And when it's too hot in the kitchen and the babyface is getting advantage, he'll roll out of the ring, collect himself, that kind of stuff, pissing off the crowd. As a heel, you want to legitimately piss off the crowd. You want them to actually dislike you, not go, yeah, like I know he's not real, so I mean he's not a real like character, so I don't really dislike him. He's entertaining though. I hate that word entertaining, but you want to actually go, wow, I really dislike this guy. You want to actually believe that maybe he's actually this person is like this outside of the ring. That's when you know you dislike a wrestler, and that's their job. And that's what I think a lot of the talent today doesn't go far enough or learn the intricacies of being a heel, a true heel. Because I think right now it's harder than ever to be a heel because there are so many rules that have been taken away. So you can't break the rules to become a heel. Closed fists, perfect example. I don't know why in the hell closed fists are still legal. Doesn't make any sense and exposes the business on top of that. So anyway, it was a nice, Ziggler-Wyatt was a nice match. The lack of naming the moves, though, gets me a little bit of... I noticed that during the match. You'll just hear Michael Cole go, oh, what a move, or you'll hear a clothesline or a suplex every once in a while. But I'd like to know the names of the moves. It creates a little emotion connection so I know what's happening. It allows me to visualize and actually maybe feel what that move is like. And it allows the story to progress, and it just adds depth to the story. So I know it'll never happen because they're all about entertainment and what a performance. If I hear the word performance or entertainment, again, I'm going to puke. Because it just, those two words completely expose the business. As if the curtain has been pulled back enough, the words of entertainment and performance are the worst two words you can use. And Dolph Ziggler's even guilty of this, saying he's going to steal the show. That's what he does. He entertains the fans. Shut up. No, that's not what you're doing. Don't tell me that before you go out on stage, say you're doing theater, that I hope you enjoy my performance. It's not real, because that's what a performance is. A performance isn't real. That's what it is. So please stop before I get on that rant again. So I'm going to take a quick 10-second break. On the other side, I'm going to talk about the Rusev and Rowan, obviously the Daniel Bryan and Seth Rollins, and then the Stone Cold podcast with Triple H. So don't go anywhere. I'll be back on the other side.
And now, back to the Matt's Madness Show.
Alrighty, here we go. Rusev and Eric Rowan didn't even happen. That match never even happened. It was just a way to continue Rusev being a, quote, dangerous superstar as John Cena put him over. And the match never happened. Eric Rowan just got destroyed. And then the Russian flag never came down. It was kind of a rib. I thought it was supposed to happen, and then I don't think it was, because Lana didn't know what to do. Just kind of stood there and went with it as if the flag went down. Rusev obviously called an audible and went with it, and obviously that's the smart way to go. Rusev just took his flag and waved the hell out of it. Good way to recover there from that little misstep of the flag not coming down. So further Rusev's mean streak. And him and John Cena at Fastlane. I don't think this is going to end at Fastlane. I think you're going to see John Cena and Rusev at WrestleMania. And really, whoever wins at WrestleMania, it's kind of a win-win. Because if you have John Cena go over and win the United States Championship, and then hold the United States Championship, it adds a lot of luster to a otherwise very cold title. And if Rusev wins, well, then you're continuing his streak. And could you imagine how hot he would be if he was to go to WrestleMania 32 still undefeated? A little coffee here, keep me rolling. So to me, that's a win-win. John Cena losing to Rusev won't hurt him, but I think it'll be a non-finish at Fastlane, and then you're going to see them a blow-off at WrestleMania. So the final match, Rollins versus Bryan. Obviously, these two are tailor-made for each other. The best two wrestlers in WWE. You could probably throw Ziggler's name into that, no question. These two had an awesome match. If they had time, they could put on a hell of an Iron Man match. And it's a shame they only had about 15 minutes that they did. And they could easily have match of the year if they did. There's a lot of this is awesome chance. It's warranted, no question. Roman Reigns comes down, spears Big Show on the outside, who was otherwise just being a cheerleader. And then there was a Superman punch on Rollins, and then he turns around and Daniel Bryan hits him with the knee for the win. So you have Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns at Fastlane. Lots of ways that could go. I don't even want to make a prediction yet as to who's going to win, but intriguing match nonetheless, and it, quote, gives the fans what they want for now, but we'll see where they go creatively. It's kind of a hold me over to... It's kind of putting a Band-Aid on this wound that WWE received at the Royal Rumble. They just put a Band-Aid on it. They didn't solve anything yet, because if Daniel Bryan gets screwed again, the fans are going to go wild. Unless that's the plan to make Roman Reigns a heel. Turn him heel at Fastlane, face a babyface Brock Lesnar, who's maybe staying now with WWE. Hey, I could go with that storyline and then have that slow burn for Daniel Bryan again. So who knows? Who knows whether there's lots of avenues, lots of ways to go, and we'll have to see how it plays out. Then, on the WWE Network, the podcast with Stone Cold and Triple H, I thought it was very good. I thought it was better than the one he had with Vince. And the first thing they did was address the Roman Reigns issue. They talked about the, quote, reality era and how kayfabe is dead. Kayfabe, in other words, protecting the business, still being in character outside of the ring, outside of the arena. So social media still remaining in your character, which to me they should to an extent. But Stephanie McMahon, for example, Stephanie McMahon, I think I pointed this out a couple of weeks ago, on her Twitter, go take a look. In her description, in her little profile, it says, I play a bad guy on TV. Are you kidding me? I play a bad guy on TV. Who's this for? The 6-year-old, 7-year-old boys and girls who can't handle the fact that she might actually be an evil woman? Or power-hungry woman? I mean, come on. You want people to believe and emotionally invest? Don't do that crap. I understand that everybody knows it's not real, so you're letting them know that you know it's not real. Don't outsmart yourself. For God's sakes. Don't put that in your profile. You don't have to, be nasty and go full character in your profile. Just don't put it there. Just don't say anything. So, anyway, the podcast with Triple H was great. They talked about the reality era. They talked about the NXT, how it's kind of Triple H's baby at this point. And I really have yet to get really in-depth with NXT, but all I hear about is the NXT Revolution pay-per-view being off the charts. It's more old school, which people love, and especially he said that the demographic is young males, hardcore fans like myself, and I really want to start getting into this. From what I hear, all I hear is positive things, so I'm going to have to check out that NXT Revolution pay-per-view for sure. But the Roman Reigns thing, he said basically, when he read between the lines, that he has the finger on the pulse of the WWE Network, and he understands that many people feel Roman Reigns isn't ready. And he kind of danced around the fact that he didn't choose that Roman Reigns won. And he basically said that he would have done things differently in Royal Rumble. It was mostly Vince's call. So Vince obviously doesn't hit a home run every time. Sometimes he hits a single, a double, and strikes out. So this time he seemed to have struck out with Roman Reigns. No question about that. And he's doing things to amend that. That's what the great thing Triple H said is you can always write another chapter. There's always another page. There's always another way to go. And he's right. There's always another avenue. This is a never-ending story. And it was a great response. So he also talked about his career, Triple H's career. China. Will they ever put China in the Hall of Fame? My answer, basically read between the lines again, is no. Obviously, because she's an adult film star, that they gave the reason of, well, they're a TV PG now. So the fact that they have 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10-year-old kids who could go and Google, who the heck is China? And they Google her and boom, take a look at what she is and what she's doing. So there's no question. I understand the reasons. It's more of a PR issue, especially now that they're a publicly traded company. For them to induct a porn star into the Hall of Fame is a little bit concerning. I definitely understand that. Nonetheless, her wrestling career was amazing. She transcended the business. She put women on the map. She was an amazing talent. No question about it. But I understand the reasons for not doing it. They talked about the Ultimate Warrior, DX, NWO, CM Punk. Triple H basically stated that if Punk was to come back, it would be Vince's call. And that he said that Punk was a loner in the fact, and he also didn't have great communication. Triple H would hear rumblings of Punk is pissed about this, pissed about that, not happy, disgruntled, and then Triple H would approach him about it, and Punk would be like, no, we talk about nothing, everything's fine, and I can kind of see that. So there's two sides to every story, but he said basically the door is open for Punk to return, which I do think will happen one day, whether his UFC career takes off or not. I do see it happening. They talked about Brock's contract status, and it was kind of hinted that Brock may be staying. He didn't give a definite that they reached a resolution, just the fact that Brock needs to decide whether Brock has unfinished business in UFC. And so he said that they're constantly in talks with Brock, and it's encouraging to know that, Brock has a very, very easy, perfect schedule for his personality and what he likes and doesn't like. We all know he hates travel. He's a bunch of a loner. And he adds a hell of a lot to this business. So for him to be leaning towards WWE is a good sign. So there was so much said. And the one thing that Triple H said he wishes he could change, the 3-hour Raw. Couldn't agree more. I think a lot of people would agree with that. A 3-hour show is just daunting. A 2-hour movie is even pushing it for a lot of people. So a 3-hour with commercials, 15, 20 breaks, whatever the commercial breaks they have, and the commercial breaks inside of the matches is just very hard to deal with. And not only as a viewer, but it's also it's extenuating, especially for the people who have to produce it and write it. That he said that third hour is just exponentially harder, and I can totally understand that. It's a whole other animal. Nobody does a 3-hour live show every single week, and couldn't agree more that hopefully that 2-hour will come back. But it's obviously on Vince's shoulders, and it's obviously a PR decision in terms of the sponsors that may or may not agree with that, but I think the fact that they are in 3 hours negates the fact that negates the benefits of having that third hour. So you're losing viewership by having such a long show. But yes, you have more sponsors, you have more airtime, but you're also losing viewership. So and the fact that you're also dragging out storylines or putting in things kind of filler just to get those 3 hours in. So I can totally understand that, but on the same side, I think 2 hours is that sweet spot. 9 to 11, Monday Night Raw, USA Network, bring it back. I'm all for it. He said the Undertaker's streak, also, he's not sure. Like many of us who are still conflicted about whether the Undertaker streak being broken was a good or a bad thing. He's still on the fence. He said that obviously with Brock winning, there was a long-term plan having that, and I would sure as hell hope so. I think many of us saw that who are privy to the product, that there better have been a long-term plan with Brock in place for him to beat the streak. And that has so far come to fruition, that Brock has been established as a monster. So was it worth it? We don't know. I think we won't know for a couple of years until we look back and go, yeah, I mean, that kind of did it. That was worth breaking. I can understand the storyline for it. But I really believe that at the end of the day, I think the majority of people are going to go, that wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it, but hey, who knows? But I don't think we can judge for another couple of years or until The Undertaker finally retires. The promos being scripted, he mentioned that there are a lot of guys who actually want their promos scripted, or the fact that they actually don't trust talent to get the lines across or the point across they're trying to make. And he said he would like to go back to just guys being able to react in their gut to what their opponent is saying. And I totally agree, because scripted promos, as we all know with Roman Reigns, is just awful. It's it's scripted because you don't believe anything they're saying. You just feel like it's too scripted. It's too structured of a promo or of a delivery to believe that they just came up with that on their own. It's too corporate. It's all the promos had the same structure and the same feel. That's how you know it's coming from the same person. So go back, and Triple H agrees with this, to go with your guts. Go with how you feel. Go with what you believe you should say. And it will come across as natural. Whether you bomb or not, at least they'll listen to you and the crowd will react to you and at least not turn you off. So I would highly recommend that you guys check out the podcast on the WWE Network with Stone Cold interviewing Triple H. I could have listened to these guys for another hour, 2 hours. They were great. An hour just does not feel like enough. They need 3-4 hours, I feel like. Nonetheless, definitely check it out. And I want to thank you guys again for listening to the show. Any comments or feedback, questions at mattsmadness.com or on Twitter, Matts_Madness obviously is the best way to get a hold of me. Next week I'll be reviewing Raw again as we get closer to Fastlane and as we close in on WrestleMania season. Things are going to really start heating up in the next few weeks. Likely the return of The Undertaker. Typically it's the Monday after the Fastlane, or what was the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. So late February, that last February, Monday Night Raw in February, you'll see The Undertaker typically. So a lot happening, a lot of rumors going around, and it's going to be an exciting season without question. So thank you guys for listening, and I'll catch you guys next week.